One things that we find out whenever we kind of press a contractor about their comfort advisors is they assume, right? They assume that the comfort advisor is doing everything by the book.
Right.
Hey, we have a system and they're doing it. And our question is, how do you know?
Yeah.
Right. And by the way, what's the metric? Like you said, standards. What's the standard for add-ons? What's the standard for size of order? Like, do you have that even? Because if you don't have it, guess what? This is the thing you and I talk about. If the teacher or parents never checked homework, who would do their homework? No one would do their homework, right?
Right.
I know I wouldn't. I was always a good student, but I did it because I knew it was going to get checked, right? Same thing happens. Yes, this is that trust but verify. Yes, I'm sure you trust your employees, but you also need to make sure that you are verifying, right? Not just assuming, verifying that they are indeed following your process and they are indeed holding up your standards.
Well, and that's the thing, is that probably the biggest, roadblock between contractors getting the results that they want versus what they are actually getting is this knowing versus doing gap. The comfort advisor technician, they say they know what to do and that they're doing it, but the reality is something completely different. They're not actually doing it. I had years ago, I had a technician that worked for me, Dave, and Dave was a great guy. As a matter of fact, I ran into him about 2 summers ago. I hadn't seen him in literally 15, 20 years. And Dave was a great guy. And I can remember Dave was going through a dry spell. And I said, Dave, what's going on? I said, your numbers are nowhere near what you're capable of and what you've done in the past. Chris, I'm doing everything. I mean, he was convinced of it. And I said, Dave, would you be open to coaching? And he's like, well, yeah, you know that. I go, would you mind if I came with you and if I could see what you're doing and maybe offer you some positive feedback? He's like, yeah, let's do it. I said, okay, Dave, I'm going to block off my day tomorrow and I'm going to come with you. So first call, I get in the car with him, and Dave was a real big, heavy set guy. So we're in this pickup truck, and it's like he's right next to me, and we're talking. Oh, what are we going to do when we get in the house? Okay, the game plan, what to do, and we get in the house, and everything that we just discussed, everything that he knew what to do, that he'd been trained on countless times, not only by me but also by Rick, went out the door. Like he didn't do anything. It was like we walked in the door and literally we were down at the furnace in 30 seconds. And we went downstairs. I said, Dave, what just happened there? He's like, well, what do you mean? I said, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? And you could see that look on his face. Oh my God, I forgot. I said, Dave, you forgot? He said, oh, I'm sorry. I said, okay. I said, no problem. I said, let's try to, let's go back upstairs and try to, pick up where we missed those steps. So we did that. And, the call went a little bit better. Okay, Dave, we're going to the next call. Same thing, let's make sure we're doing anything. It's like a repeat of the first call. It's like a repeat of the first call. And so I was like, Dave, what just happened? You did the same thing again. Oh my gosh. I said, Dave, the problem isn't that you don't know the system. The problem is that you're not doing the system. So I think that most contractors would really be upset, disappointed, if you will, and if they were to actually go out there and ride with their guys, whether it be a comfort advisor or a technician, as to what's actually happening, because it's two totally different things.
Right. And it's a very human problem, right? And I'm sure it happens that a comfort advisor will lie to you and say, hey, listen, I really did this. I didn't do it, whatever. I think for the most part, they're being honest, but they're not kind of seeing that disconnect that's occurring, right? It's kind of, remember you and I talk about when I was playing racquetball?
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing racquetball. One of the guys that's waiting to play is I don't know, ranked number 10 in Connecticut. As I'm walking out, he says, man, your service really solid, but you had a couple of shots. He called them, he said, those shots should have been meatballs. You should have just put them away, but you're holding your racket slightly down so the ball goes down. And he says, do you mind if, I'm like, no, dude, show me. I'm listening. And, So I play and I come back out and he kind of did the same thing you did, right? He's like, yeah, you didn't make the adjustment. I'm like, yeah, I did, right? He says, so he calls my friend. He said, Ron, play him one more time, please, right? This time he records me. Now I would have sworn a stack of Bibles that I'm doing it the way he said. But as soon as I started playing, I switched up to what I was familiar with, right? So, and then I had to practice because I had the habit of doing the downward stroke. And that's the thing that people miss when they're teaching sales, right? They miss the fact that it isn't just what you know intellectually, right? Because I know racquetball and I knew what he was saying, but it's the ability to do it, right? And in sales, we say you don't fall back to the level of your training, you fall back to the level of your conditioning.
Yes.
Right? Conditioning is where it's at. That's why we say, hey, if you're going to have a sales meeting and you got 30 minutes, spend 10 minutes talking about whatever it is you're going to talk about and spend 20 minutes role playing and rehearsing.
Yeah.
Because that's how people get ready to actually make the sale, is the role play and the rehearsal. Practice it.
If anybody is interested in talking with us more about how maybe we can help their company, the easiest thing to do is just go to our website, which is the hvcsalescoach.com/booking. You can schedule a time to talk with me, and we can see if we can help you in your needs to get your business to where you want it to go.